Hello again, my friends. Happy Taco Tuesday. We are going to get started with writing today. Now, today our writing is going to be a sentence about at least one thing we did for spring break last week. Your sentence doesn't have to look like mine, and you can write more than one sentence. You can write about more than one thing. That's A-OK by Mrs. Sketch. If you need some help thinking of how to start your sentence, then go ahead and watch this video and you'll see what I am doing for my writing. And let's see, I've got all of my stuff here. I've got our paper, our makeshift easel, and then up here, I really need to take a picture of this for you guys. I've got some of our writing wall helpers. So I've got posters to help me remember to add way up here. Oh, I should have grabbed my pointer. Way up here, I've got a poster reminding me that if I want to say that I have more than one thing, to put an S at the end. I've got my ING, my ing brother poster to remind me that if I want to say that I am doing something, to write ING. Then we have our suffix ED poster. We haven't talked about this yet in class, but this is a good time to bring it up because we're writing and this is a tool that you can use. So with the ED poster, it's telling me that if I want to say that I did something in the past, that I need to put an ED. So if I want to say I sailed, because you wouldn't say I sail last week. Like that doesn't make sense. So you have to say that you did it before, but you need to add the ED so that people know that it was something you did in the past, that you're not doing right now. It's not something you're going to do in the future. It's something that you already did. So you add the ED. Now, sometimes ED has a couple different sounds. It can sound like id. So if you painted, it sounds like an I and a D. Sailed, it just sounds like there's just a D, but it's an ED. And then jumped. Sometimes it sounds like the T, but it's still the ED. Isn't that crazy? So I'll take a picture of all of these and put them on Class Dojo so that you have these as a resource to use as well. And then I also have our digraph posters. We're working on SH this week. We talked about TH last week. We're going to briefly talk about CK, CH, WH, PH. We've got all of the digraphs up here that you can use. And the nice thing about these posters is that you can come up and actually look at the word and it tells you how to spell the whole word as well. So if I wanted to write cheese, but I was afraid to sound it out, I wasn't sure that I could do it, I could come up to the CH poster and I could find the picture of the cheese and then I could just copy the word down. You guys are always welcome to use your resources. Miss Sketch doesn't expect your spelling to be perfect. I just want you to use your best sounds. But if you can find the word somewhere, then you're more than welcome to write it down the way that it's written wherever you find it. All right, so let's get started with our sentence. That was a really long introduction to this writing video. So I'm going to have my sentence say, over spring break, I did yard work. That's what I'm going to say. So I am going to sound out some of those words, and then some of them are just words that I know how to sound out and how to spell, just because my Sketch is a million bajillion years old, and I've been reading and writing for a very, very, very long time. But first, let's count how many words are in my sentence so I can remember all of my words, because sometimes we start writing and then we forget what we were going to say. So I like to put some lines when we do our writing on the big easel so that we remember what we were trying to say. So, over spring break, I did yard work. So that's 7 words. So I'm going to go ahead and put 7 lines just to help me. You don't have to do this, but this is something we do in class so that we can remember what our sentence was supposed to be. So, over spring break, I did yard work. Okay, that seems pretty easy peasy. Now, to sound out some of these words, we just have to think back to sounds we've figured out in doing these big writing posters together. So, over, what do you think our first sound is? O. It's just going to be a big O. So, we have to write an O, and it has to be a capitalized O or an uppercase O because it is the first word in the sentence, and O is the first letter of the first word. So we've got a big, here, let's do it in a different color so we can see it better. So O, we always start at the top. Then we want the V sound. O, V. And then we need an Now, do you guys remember what makes the sound like a crazy driver? I'll give you a hint. Our O is saying its name because there is something after this V telling it to say its name, and then we've got something that's making the sound. So, if you remember our crazy driver rule, you'll remember that E and R get together in a car, and they are not good drivers, and they're always slamming on the brakes and turning the wheel so fast, and they go So if you ever have that kind of sound in a word, it's usually an E and an R. They are our crazy drivers. Over. Now we're going to move on to spring. And then we've got the ing sound, and luckily I have my ing poster. You guys can't see it right now, but it's way, way up there. So we're going to start with s, p, and then our ing brothers. Remember our three brothers that get together? Ing, I-N-G. E, N, G. Over spring. Now, break is a weird word because there are actually two different kinds of breaks. There's a break like spring break, where you get to take a break, you get to relax. And then there's break like the brakes on your car. There's a lot of different ways that you can spell break. We want to spell the break for like taking a break, a relaxing break. And that one, it doesn't really sound out the right way. Just like Miss Ketch's name, it does not look like it should be spelled this way, but this is how we spell it. So this is a word that we just kind of have to spell. Again, you guys can just use your best sounds. I don't care if your spelling is perfect. I'm going to write it the way that I know how it's spelled, but that's just because Miss Ketch is a million bajillion years old, and I've been reading and writing for a long, long time. So I don't expect you guys to write perfectly. So I know that brr, and then the ache part is super weird. It's an E, and then an A, and then a K. So over spring break, I is an easy word. We know how to make I. I'm going to do I in this pink. Hopefully it shows up. It looks like a fun color. I. Over spring break, I. Did is one of our sight words, and that is a word that we can sound out really easy peasy. So let me grab, let's do did in black. So I did. D. I. D. Did. So over spring break, I did yard work. So let me grab a marker for yard work. Now yard work, yard is going to start with the y sound. Do you guys remember what says y? That's one of our trickier letters, I think. It's a Y. And then you guys, super cool, you're about to learn a new writing rule or tip. I don't have the poster for it here at my house, but you're going to learn about the bossy or the pirate R. So R gets together with an A. So you have the letter A, and then you have the letter R next to it, and they go R like a pirate. So like in the word star, or car, or far, like if something's far, far away. So A and R get together and they pretend to be pirates. So we've got ya, R, D. It's going to be a D. Over spring break, I did yard work. Let's do, ooh, this is a pretty color. So we know that work is going to start with a W. And then it's got an sound. Now this is one of those weird words where it's not the crazy drivers. Work is actually, it's a tricky one. It's got an O and then an R. But if you used the ER for this word, I would be happy because you are using your best sounds. And you were remembering our rule about the crazy drivers. So if you do an ER, that is fine by Miss Getch. Remember, I don't care if your spelling is perfect. I just care if the letters you choose make sense. So you can't just throw a Z into a word just for fun. I want to know that you're choosing letters that would make those sounds, that would make sense. A Z right now would not make sense. It'd be wz, wz. Well, that's not a word. That's not the word that I want. I want work. So I know that work has an O and an R just because I'm a million bajillion years old. And then it ends with a K. Now, most of the time, if you have a k sound, it's going to end with a K. Sometimes it ends with the CK, like in duck or clock or stick or snack. But then in words like break and work, it just ends with the K. And then we're missing one thing at the end of our sentence. Some sort of punctuation. I think I'm going to just do a period. But if you're really excited about what you did over spring break, feel free to do an exclamation mark. So I'm going to do a period. And then I'm going to read my sentence and make sure everything makes sense. So over spring break, I did yard work. And you'll notice that I have 2 finger spaces in between all my words. I could have probably fit the word I right here, but I didn't want to squish it in and then have it look sloppy. So I'm glad that I came down here to write I down here so I could write it nice and big and it didn't have to be sloppy. So we've got finger spaces, we've got an uppercase letter at the beginning of the sentence and a period at the end. All of my words make sense and my sentence is a complete thought. It's not just over spring break, period. That doesn't mean anything. So now you know what I did over spring break, and then I'll be able to draw my picture. I can't wait to see your pictures and your sentences for what you did over spring break. I really missed you guys, and I hope you were able to do something fun. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye!